right, hey guys. So let's talk about deploying a consistent strategy. This is a huge element of winning long term in poker. Every single professional essentially ends up doing the same thing over and over and over again. So the easiest example I could give you, so you sort of understand what I'm talking about, is picture a really complex situation where, say, you open pre-flop, big blind calls, you guys see a flop, there's a check raise on the flop, there's like a bet and another call, and then you get to the river and say you get like check raised all in. So a spot that maybe you don't reach all that often. You're probably going to be thinking about it in game. But if you're looking at a Nash equilibrium solution, it tells you exactly what to do with all of your combos that get there to the river. And if you're playing against a robot, it's going to perform like that every single time because it knows that is the best way to go. Being a human, though, sometimes we do not do the same thing every single time, even though we know that it's the right move. So the easiest example would be just a pre-flop decision. You know, when you're first starting out, sometimes you don't know what you're going to be open raising or open folding. So say you're under the gun and you have something like 6-7 suited. And you don't know if you should open it, if you should fold it. So maybe you take one action one time, next time instead of raising like you did last time, to fold because you're feeling like not sure. So that would be an example of an inconsistency, and we're looking to avoid those as much as possible. Why? Well, simply put, when you do the same thing over and over again, once you have a large enough sample, you know, maybe you played for a month or two already and you have tens of thousands of hands, well, you can go and see how your decisions have been affecting your win rate, what's been profitable, what has not. And when you do the same thing, if it's the right move, great, you can keep on doing it. And if it's the wrong move, great, you know for sure that it is, and you can go ahead and alter your decision. So what you want to do is to always perform the same action in accordance with your strategy. And let's dive deeper into this because I understand that as a new player, you're just building your strategy right now. So what happens when you don't know? What you want to do first, off table, just think about common spots, situations that you always face that are rarely different. Because we are looking for consistency, right? So pre-flop, that is probably the easiest. When it's folded to you, you know, that spot never changes. When you're under the gun and first to act, you're always going to have all of the hands and you got to decide what to do with them. So this is why people really rely on pre-flop charts a lot, because it's a set strategy that is easy to execute over and over again. So you want to make sure that you are playing in accordance to some sort of chart pre-flop, because then at least you'll be making the same decision over and over again, and it'll be easy to measure its effectiveness. And after the flop, the most common spot you're going to face is a flop. Usually you're going to be heads up in a single raised pot. For example, button opens, big blind defends. There's two players seeing a flop in a single raised pot. It's an extremely common situation, and that is probably where you want to start your pre-flop studies. So what you want to do is categorize the flops, because I think there are over 22,000 possible flops in general, but only about 1,700 of them are strategically different. You know, like King 7 deuce of spades is strategically the same as King 7 deuce of hearts, right? So you want to come up with some categories of flops so that they're similar in your head and similar in your strategy. So, for example, you're going to have dry flops like a king seven deuce rainbow, queen seven deuce rainbow. That's essentially the same flop that's going to have a similar strategy. That means that when you see that flop, you are going to know what you're going to see bet, what you're not going to see bet. And if you are, say the big blind defending, you're going to know how to respond to those c bets that you end up facing. You might have wet flops, like Jack 10 8, say two hearts, one spade. That would be two tone. You're going to have monotone flops where they're all the same suit, where a flopped flush is possible. You might have paired flops like Queen 3-3 Rainbow. These are just categories that I'm giving you as an example. I think you might be able to get a bit more in-depth categorizing them on your own. I think if you have maybe 7 or 8, that's really the sweet spot, so that you're not differentiating too much, but you're not painting with too broad of a brush when you are doing off-table work on your strategy. Because remember, the point here on the flop is for you to know what you're always going to see bet, what you're always going to check, and what you're always going to fold when facing a c bet, what you're always going to call facing a c bet, and what you're always going to check raise facing a c bet on these flops, right? Because you want to take that decision over and over and over again. If you know that you're going to be betting your entire range on a dry flop, you always want to make sure you're betting every single combo you have if that is the strategy you've decided to deploy. Above all, when you are making your strategies, as a beginner, we would recommend deploying a pure strategy. What does pure mean? It means you take the same action over and over. You do not mix your decisions. So let me show you a quick example here. So say you're looking up a preflop chart from a GTO solve, right? You will see that some combos don't always take the same action. Like this queen jack offsuit, right? Sometimes it's folding, sometimes it's open raising. What you want to do, and we promise as a beginner, this will not affect your win rate. As a matter of fact, it'll probably help it because you'll have an easier strategy to deploy. But make charts that are pure, that you are always going to be raising this combo, or you're always going to be folding this combo. Don't worry about randomization yet while you are just learning the game. So you want to start out with a GTO chart like this, so you know what you're going to be doing pre-flop, but then make it nice and simple. Jurojin has an awesome range builder that you can use. And what you want to do is just make sure that you have your chart mapped out where every decision is pure, and just go ahead and execute that every single time. It will make things way easier for you. And same goes once you get to the flop. Try to have a fixed strategy, a pure strategy in your head. Don't say, well, sometimes I'm going to c-bet ace high, sometimes I'm going to check back ace high. Do the same thing over and over. That is the consistency that you want to display. That is what will lead you to victory. Yep, you always want to know what to c-bet and what to fold to c-bets. And when you're not sure in game, say you get to a spot and you're not sure, well, do I c-bet this? Do I not? Well, when you're not sure in game, make a note, because that will tell you exactly what to study off the table. We just went over pre-flop and some common flop situations. When you get to turns and rivers, right? That is where things get more complex. That's where you might have more questions. And that lets you know that that is a spot that you want to study using your poker tools, which we will be covering in the future. Quick pro tip for you guys. When you're starting out, you might find a lot of flops where you are confused, And one thing that can lead you to making a profitable decision is to bucket your hands. So every hand strength that you're going to have, right? It's either going to be a value hand, you might have a bluff catcher, or you might have a bluff. So just for example, if you have something like 2-pair or better, that is going to be a value hand. If you have something like king high or worse, that will probably be a bluff. And everything in the middle, you can categorize as a bluff catcher. Top pair, middle pair, bottom pair. Those are sort of your bluff catcher candidates. And think of what each of these buckets want to do. Your value always wants to get stacks in, right? Because you want to get the most that you can from your value always. Your bluffs also potentially want to get stacks in because they want to make your opponent as scared as possible so they will fold. And your bluff catchers typically do not want to play for stacks. They want to get to a showdown where they're likely good. And if you see a better two go in at some point in there, then, you're happy. You're happy. So given that, think of what you want to do on the flop when you have value. Probably want to bet. If you have a bluff, what you want to do? Most likely bet. And if you have a bluff catcher, what do you want to do on the flop? Probably check, right? So this is just kind of like a quick gut check that you can give yourself in game when you are stuck. But remember, what you really want to be doing as you play poker is to always make the same decision when you are facing a similar spot. That is what will guide you to victory much sooner than later. So we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Thank you for watching.
Download it for free at JurojinPoker.com.